Well, welcome into my studio. My name is Jerry, and if this is the first time you're here, I'm doing this live today. And so I've done this a couple of times over the last couple of months, and I'm still getting the hang of it. And eventually in January, it is my hope to kind of do like almost like a free film school that will be live. So I'm trying to figure out a time for that, but hopefully that'll be later in the afternoons. So after people are off school or off work can jump on. And so, but what I wanted to do today is talk to you about the future of everything. And so if you're rewatching this, you can just drop a comment if something's unclear, and I can pop back into it. But it is my hope that this will serve as a little bit of a update on where everything is and how you can support, and more importantly, what avenue you want to spend time with. So I'm doing a lot of stuff on here. I'm doing a lot of stuff on TikTok, and then Substack and my website. So those are kind of the places that you can head to and learn more. And so those will all be down in the comments or down in the description, so you can jump in there. But what I'm talking about today is I am about to do an in-person holiday market over at Cinefile Video in Santa Monica. So if you are in the Los Angeles area, I hope you'll stop by. It's this Friday the 13th at, or I guess it's Friday the 12th, my apologies, Friday the 12th. And so these are, this is an opportunity to meet me in person and learn a little bit more, and also support what I'm working on, and more importantly, get you something that's made by an actual artist. I'm seeing a lot of talk on the internet lately about how consumers and creators want to work together. They want to be able to share their things. So like I've been talking about, all of my films are on physical media, so you can pick up those, and then a couple of prints as well. So I'm going to go through some of these prints that I have today that are going to be for sale there. And these are from a show that I did last summer, and so let's kind of jump into it. Wrong button. It's a lot of technology to do all of these things, and so I appreciate your patience. As you can see, I am in a garage. I'm doing it all alone, and so this is a lot of different things that are happening simultaneously. So these are a couple of the prints that will be available from that I've made. I've made them right here in this darkroom. Well, not in this room, but when it was in my other house. And so you can know that I've hand developed them, printed them, and everything like that. And so this is a photograph from East Jesus out in the Salton Sea, and so this is printed on fiber paper. If you don't know what fiber paper is, basically it is just a piece of paper that can be printed optically on that enlarger, and so you can get a little bit richer colors. In the blacks, it's black and white, so not a lot of color, but you can get a little bit richer colors. It's also a little bit harder to work with, so a lot of people seem to stray away from it. That's actually what made me go to it, and it's not really as hard as everybody thinks. So, but it does help the image last a little bit longer, and so you can do that. But so this is a print that will be available. Like I said, my features will be available. All these prints will be available, and so you can get something that's handmade for somebody. This is one of my faves. So this is off of a half-frame camera, and half-frame cameras allow you to select to basically take two photographs in the same 35mm negative. You don't have to do anything fancy. It does all the work for you. And so this is from a car that was in my old neighborhood, and I walked past it with my pup all the time. And yeah, I really liked this frame because I was like, oh, I can capture the wide and the close-up of the same and then print it. Printing it is difficult because I'm printing it at the same time. So you can, if you've ever printed optically, it's a little bit difficult, but it's also a fun, challenging experience, especially when you're doing it with two of the same thing. So I like that as well. And this is one from New York. This is shot on motion picture film, and so this is also on fiber paper, but this is shot on motion picture film. It's called Double X, and so a lot of films are still made on this film stock. And my buddy Kenny and I, we own the Celluloid Collective together, and we've repackaged some of those film stocks so you can shoot on them as well. And we're done for this year, but it'll be opening back up in February, and we find old film stocks and things like that you can use. And so, but this was one that was on a photo walk out in New York, and I really liked this kind of frame with the you ended up having like the cars kind of framing each other, but then there's a man back here. It's really hard to tell in this one, but there's a man back here with an umbrella that kind of like grabs you back to the back, which I kind of liked. And this is from one of my very first times developing my own film and printing it. So this is from a show that I did. There's some dust on it, so that's part of the reason I'm doing this, is to get all the dust off of these as well. This is from the School of Light, downtown Los Angeles, and so I took a class there. It was very informative, and I was able to print this image in the darkroom for the very first time. And so I took this down in Chinatown during the pandemic, and yeah, I really liked how there's a lot of heavy contrast in here, and if you've seen any of my films, I do like a lot of contrast, be it metaphorical or black and white, but I like both of those. All right, what else we got in here? Oh. So I have some things that are just, that are already framed, but then I also have a lot of things that are loose in here, and so I have some other prints of that same one. And so whatever is available after this show, I'm going to make available on my website, so you can pick up and have a print for somebody. But I wanted to make these available in person and talk about the work and all those kind of things. So I think there's a lot of talk on the internet right now about supporting other artists. And if you saw that video I put out this week, then you know that that's something that's very important to me. And so and the point of supporting other artists is, not necessarily you have to buy things from them and everything like that, but just showing up, sharing it with somebody. And there's a lot of talk right now about people wanting to support other artists and wanting to be available for other artists. And there's a lot of talk of DVDs and physical media, which, I've showed you twice already. So those things are available. But if it's really something you want to support, then it goes a long way. And so, as filmmakers, as photographers, as artists, we put a lot of time and effort and energy into all these things. And when they are available to other people, then, they can purchase them. But I think a lot of people think that the only way to support is by purchasing things, and that's not the case. So share this with a friend. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, sign up for my Substack and learn some more things. All of these things kind of help because it keeps getting the story going. And so a thing I talked about a couple of months ago was maybe your audience doesn't have, sorry, there's a loud truck. Maybe your audience doesn't have the bandwidth right now or the financial capacity to support what you're doing. So maybe you give a couple of them away. Every once in a while I take these around the neighborhood and I put them into free libraries and they disappear immediately. So it's just a good thing to know that there are people out there that want to see your work, but sometimes it's very hard because maybe they can't afford it at the time. So I've donated these to movie rental stores around the country, and I'm about to start donating them to local libraries, and so that they can get that out there in any way. So I just want people to be able to watch the movie and be able to see what's going on. And so that's been very, very interesting with starting all of this semester. So if you're new to here, the school I was teaching at and I started a program at closed down after 13 years. And so instead of starting completely over, I decided to do this and decided to bring this onto the internet, and make it available for everyone. So I'm very excited about that. But a couple other things that I'm going to end up having at this sale are I have some zines that were made for my last show for the cellular, or for it was called Imagination Ecosystem, and it was a joint show I was part of, and so there's a couple of those left, and then I have just like loose prints of the things that are not framed. So there's some fun experiments of prints that I was doing, and just some things that I liked but really didn't make the cut. And as an artist, or maybe you don't know, but it's a lot of choices that you have to make to be able to get all these things together. And so sometimes this box has been sitting back here for almost a year, and now it's time to get it back out and get it out into the world. So whatever isn't available after this market at Cinefile over the weekend on Friday will be available on my website starting next week. So if you want to grab something for a friend or a family member or somebody that if you want to support with some real art that's from real people, from a human, made by hand on that enlarger back there, then I hope you'll support that. And so the last thing I want to talk about before I get off of here, and so if you're rewatching this, I'll put some timestamps so hopefully you can get to this part in the video, but I missed. One of the things that has been happening over the last couple of weeks is I've been talking a lot about this over on TikTok, and maybe you found this YouTube because of that, and I appreciate you stopping by and checking this out. I've been doing this for a long time, and like I said in videos before, I'm new to the internet and new to this part of it, but I've been doing films and teaching for a while, and one of the things that has been on my list for, if you've known me, for probably close to a decade is a movie theater. And I have been also trying to figure out like how to get films onto TV. And I have been talking with TV stations around Los Angeles, and so I'll be releasing one of those conversations here in a couple of weeks that I had just recently. And I've also been working on how to get things together for an actual release on, on a movie screen. And so with that being said, if you are a filmmaker that has a film ready to go, I'd also like to talk to you about getting them on physical media, but we can talk about that at some other point. But if you have a film that is micro budget, you've directed, you've produced, you've funded yourself, I want to talk to you. And so I'm going to start up my podcast. It will be in video interview form like this, so we'll be talking about your work. And I want to talk to you about your film. I want to see what you are working on. I want to hear about what you're actually working on. And so you can head over to bronsonCreative.us. Down at the bottom of the education tab, which will pop up first, you'll see a little form there. There's a couple little drop downs, and so one of the drop downs will end up being, do you want to talk about a film you are looking to create? And so that's a different conversation. Or are you looking to be on the podcast and talk about the film you already currently have? So I encourage you to head on over there. I want to talk about your films. This is something that, we don't create alone. If you haven't watched the video that I put up this week about, success and making sure that you're supporting other artists, then I urge you to go do that. But one of the things that I want you to consider is, how could someone help you, but also how could you help somebody else? No matter where you're at in this stage of your process and your journey, there's somebody behind you that you could help. So it could be leaving a little tip. It could be leaving a comment on their video to say, keep going. But I think that we need to start supporting each other, and everything that I've heard on the internet this week about the Netflix and Warner Brothers and Paramount, or however it ends up shaking out, I don't know how that's going to shake out, but there are antitrust laws in place, so hopefully they'll work on that in that capacity. But I've realized that there are a lot of people that want to support indie artists, and so you're gonna have to start talking about your work, and you're gonna have to support others, and you're gonna have to share your friends' work. And one of the things I said in that video was, what will happen if you talked as much about your friends' work or your work as you do about somebody that already has millions of dollars of marketing behind it? So just think about those kind of things as you're moving forward. And we're coming to the end of the year, and we're gonna reset, and hopefully next year, I'm screening some of your films in a theater or on TV, or I don't know, live streaming them on the website and helping you sell physical media. But whatever it ends up being, I want to be part of the micro budget film world, and it's the one that has gotten me made me the most fulfilled out of the whole journey. And I've worked on multi-million-dollar movies, and I've worked on $0 movies, and they all have the exact same problem, which is they don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, they don't have enough resources. So if we already know that going into it, what does it change about our philosophy? What does it change about the way that we're going to reach out and the way we're going to collaborate together? What would happen if you and your 4 friends owned the movie together? Right? That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. That's what Seize the Card was. So it's 7 people or less owning the movie and making it available for everybody. So with that being said, I'm going to jump off here. I got to get the rest of these things together and get them off for this event and make some marketing materials. But drop a comment below if there's something I went into, you're like, oh, I'd like to hear a little deeper about that, then make sure to just drop a comment down there and let me know. And I'm going to try to keep doing these more frequently and more often, and eventually kind of make it where it's like almost like a film school of sorts for free. And we'll do that where, it's available where, after, I know it's like almost noon my time on the Pacific, but I'll try to make these where they're like more in the early evening, and so after school, after work, those things. So you have stories that you want to tell, I want to help you tell them, and it's the most creator-friendly time I have ever lived through, and quite possibly any of us have ever lived through. So I know that these things are changing, and these companies are buying up other companies, but as somebody that's worked for some of those companies before, they also don't know what's going on. They're just making what they think will make the most money. And so what would happen if we make choices that aren't necessarily about the money? That's where I'm kind of heading over the next year, because I've realized when I just make the things that my audience enjoys and I enjoy, then it's a slow build, and you never really kind of give up on yourself. So I'm gonna jump off here and get back to work. So, but thank you for watching this or rewatching this wherever you're at in your day. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. If you're available this Friday, please come out and say hi. I'll be at Cinefile Video in Santa Monica. Between 8 and 11:30 p.m. They also have a lot of deals on their movies and things like that. But like I said, I'll be selling my films. I'll be selling my prints. I'll also have a couple of cameras for sale. And I think I'm going to work on a miniature model while I'm there for a feature that I'm working on. So I might live stream that as well. I don't know. I'm getting into this live stream of like what this can actually be. And I think there's a lot of cool opportunities for us to create together. So we're going to explore that as we go. But this time for real, I hope you have a beautiful day. Do something nice for someone, and I'll see you next time.